All right. We're going to talk about it. I don't want to say I don't want to, because clearly I want to. I can kind of do whatever I want with this channel. I wish I didn't want to. And I want to talk about it for a reason. It's probably different than a lot of y'all would expect. I don't know. Because, like, Diogo Jota died. Which sucks. Obviously. Massively. For anybody that actually knows him. Anybody that's experienced death in their life. It's so weird and abrupt. And you just catch yourself randomly. Yeah, I mean, it sometimes hits you years later where you just see something or think about something, and then it just kind of gets to you again, right? But everybody kind of deals with it in its own way. And Diogo Jota was obviously somebody that had a positive impact on a lot of people's lives in Portugal and like Liverpool, obviously. And just the way people deal with death. It's always almost been interesting to me. Now, obviously, I wish everybody could stay alive forever and nothing bad would ever happen, but bad things do happen and people die, right? And I got to go through a couple people in high school that kind of died, and seeing how everybody reacts to it. And it's basically everybody reacts to it in a different way. So I just wanted to do something that's going to be very difficult, which is try to kind of unpack that and hope that all of us can come to a bit of a better understanding about what's going on here. Because first of all, it's not about me at all, nor should it be. I never met Diogo Jota. I'm not going to pretend that, even though I'm obviously sad for him and his family and his kids and whatever, that it has some massive emotional trauma for me. If you were that emotionally affected by every person that died, even every professional athlete that died, that would be a hard way to live. Fortunately, we're not wired that way, and you're not forced to kind of think about all of the things that are happening. But it's, like I said, it's not about me, right? It should be about making sure that the people that are affected by it in that way are taken care of in the right way. You know, even people that maybe they're like me that didn't know him, but for whatever reason, the way he died, or just because of how important he was to this moment in their lives, or watching his highlight videos or whatever, they're still incredibly sad about it, and that's okay. I'm just talking about literally just for me, right, with that earlier sentence. But there's a couple of different incidents I wanted to unpack. The first one was a touch of class from this Everton fan who joined Liverpool supporters in laying tributes for Diogo Jota. And then there was a very, very liked tweet where it said, "Never underestimate the human race's inherent desperation for attention and validation. Such performative nonsense, wear a normal shirt and pay your respects quietly like a normal person, you tosser." I disagree with that. I mean, it is entirely possible that the person that went to the memorial wearing an Everton shirt really just did it because they're a narcissist and they really wanted the attention and they thought that this was a good way to get it. But that we don't know that, because I think that it is a nice gesture to wear an Everton jersey, the jersey of your hated rival, and to go to the memorial and leave something and say, like, we're grieving with you. That's a nice gesture. I don't see any way around that, where you would make the conscious decision to put on the Everton shirt not because you wanted that narcissistic stuff, which again is possible. Maybe this guy really wanted that and didn't care about the gesture at all, but you could also reach for that jersey and put it on and, you know, be like, well, I want to show that Everton fans are grieving too, and our thoughts are with the families and our thoughts are with the people that are affected, right? I think that in times like these, people go for giant, kind of grandiose slam dunks and statements about what people should be doing and what people shouldn't be doing, and there's basically no gray area and no leeway for how to do it. There's absolutely none at all. Where in this instance, it's entirely plausible the guy's doing it to show that Everton fans are also grieving for those affected and trying to honor the memory of Diogo Jota. Because there's a difference between those two things as well. To go back to what I was talking about earlier, there's a difference between saying, it's not about me, there are people that are way more affected by this. Like I think I tweeted when I first heard about the news is, wow, I can't believe that happened. You got to be thankful for every day, and my thoughts are with his family, right? That sort of vibe. But there's also that you want to honor the memory of the player. You want to make sure that you don't do anything to... Here's a good way to think about it. You don't want to say anything so off color or do anything so off color that if his wife or kids happen to see it, that they would be affected in a negative way. You want to honor the memory of somebody who died. That's just something that feels like the right thing to do to me. You know, leave flowers outside the stadium, is even just a sign to his family of how much you appreciated how well he played for Liverpool or how much of a positive impact he had, right? Honoring the memory being different than just feeling bad. And I don't know, I'm just a dude. I'm not a psychologist. I'm just a dude that's had to deal with death at various points in my life, as everybody does. Nobody gets through life without having to deal with death. Bad news. I like how the siren came on right as I said that. It's like they know. All right, siren's gone. There is, however, an example of, I think, one of those things that does not appropriately honor the memory, and I want you to be able to identify it and deal with it. And that actually comes from a YouTuber. So the YouTuber is actually a dude named S2G. I've interacted with him once or twice. Always been really impressed with his commitment, his editing, his ability to take kind of the simple concepts of EAFC careers and rebuilds and stuff and turn them into YouTube videos that clearly a bunch of people love to watch. But about 2 days after Diogo Jota died, he did a video called I Replayed the Career of Diogo Jota, which is diabolical. I mean, that is, in terms of decision-making, just about the worst decision-making that I think you could possibly have. I don't think you could have done it much worse than that. So he does different things like this. I replayed the career of certain players. But to do it 2 days after, it is so incredibly off color. And this is kind of the sort of thing that I'm talking about. Like, even if you just titled the video, and this was the other instance, right? I said I saw two instances or a couple instances. This is the other instance I saw in terms of reaction to what happened to Diogo Jota and his brother, right? And his family. This is just wrong, right? If he'd done the title, like, I just wouldn't have done it. I just would not have done it. And I know a lot of other people just wouldn't have done it and wouldn't touched it with a 10-foot pole. And the lizard brain of YouTubers, what's going on here, and I have this brain too sometimes, right, is the name is getting a lot of recognition, right? A lot of people are talking about Diogo Jota, so I'm going to try to capitalize on that name being very popular, right? And it is a good trait to have as a YouTuber most of the time. If something's popular, if something's popping off, if Mbappe just moved to Real Madrid, make a video about Mbappe's career playing out at Real Madrid, right? That's sort of vibe. But to do it when somebody has died, and to not do it in, I'm trying to think of a way that would make it acceptable, but like, I played out the rest of Jota's career would also be incredibly insensitive. But, you know, the title and the title and thumbnail would have to be something like, in honor of Diogo Jota, I try to recreate his best goals. That would work. That would have been your ability to capitalize on the popularity of the name and then not make it seem insensitive, where this just did. Now, he starts the video, right, with this kind of little in memoriam bit. Right, it does not last long, such is the way with YouTube. And then he started getting a ton of hate. The video got downvoted all over the place. And then he said he was donating the money that the video made to charity because people were pointing out that the video was monetized. So he's basically monetizing Diogo Jota's death. He claims that he then donated that money to charity in what ended up being a community forum post, which is the friendliest possible place he could have posted this. I know, as a content creator, throwing this up on Twitter, putting this on Instagram, it would have been more of a war zone. This is home field right here to be posting this as a community post. He has since attached, after it was initially pointed out that there was no proof of the donation, he has since attached proof of the donation. So he has basically attempted to solve that over. So do I think S2G is a bad guy? No. I don't think he's a bad guy. I think he was just in such YouTube mode that the reaction to it helped snap him out of it. Now, he might be a bad guy. I don't know. I've never met the guy. I've talked to him twice. But I don't want to make it sound like S2G is the worst guy in the world. I just want to say that I agree and I find this stuff uncomfortable and that people really, in my opinion, shouldn't do this. Everybody should be able to grieve in their own way, but I think the real important thing to stick on, and fuck football, right? If you're dealing with death, acknowledge that everybody's going to deal with it in their own way. Some people are going to seek attention from it. Some people are going to want to be left alone. Some people are going to be very analytical about it, like S2G was in this particular instance. Some people are, going to be offended by everything that they disagree with in terms of how people are responding to it and everything in between. And the most important thing that you can do is try to give people grace. Try to give people that are actually affected by it, that live in the community, that are a fan of the team, that are, to just give them the leeway. And I think most importantly, if I can try and affect change in the world at all by anybody watching, don't make it about yourself. Because it's not. Right? Somebody died. It's about them and their family and anybody else that's more directly affected by that. And if you happen to be in that immediate ricochet, then it is about you. And make sure that you get all the help and support that you need. But don't make this video. And, don't jump to the conclusion that everybody's acting in the worst interest all the time, because then that just starts a shit-throwing fight, when really what we should be doing is all shutting up and showing our support and appreciation for the person that was Diogo Jota. Because I always hoped I'd get to stream with him one day. He seemed like a nice guy, and now that's never going to happen. And I just hope that his family and friends have the right people around them to try and get over something that's hard to imagine.